Okay, 426, 114 Graham. Let me get back. 114 Graham. Hey, go!
Any unit in the vicinity, 18X4 is requesting backup area. Supervisor 114th and Graham. On a 415 Madison. All units, officer needs help. 114th and Graham. Officer needs help. 114th and Graham. Any air unit coming out southeast frequency.
115 Graham. 112. Hey, stop.
Air 3 and route from Bullshire.
Air 3 is around from Bullshire. All units, officer needs help. 114th and Graham. Officer needs help. 114th and Graham. Shots fired. Go.
If you're listening to this, you're hearing that unmistakable sound, the emergency radio traffic and wailing sirens. You know what it feels like when everyone else is running away and you're running right into it. Hey everyone, I'm retired Sergeant Danny Coon. After 31 years in law enforcement, I became a police chaplain and mental health coach for first responders. So I've seen both sides of this job, the streets and what it does to you. Welcome to Bulletproof First Responder, the podcast, where first responders grow stronger in faith, sounder in mind, and unbreakable in purpose. Let's be straight up. This isn't a highlight reel or recruiting video, and it's definitely not fake motivation. This is real stories, real struggles, and yeah, real hope. Built for those who run into chaos and still want to get home in one piece. And before you check out or think this is just another podcast, it's not, because this one might actually save your life. We're trained to stop the bleeding, secure scenes, handle threats. We're trained to hold it together no matter what. And yeah, to stuff it down. But nobody trained us for what happens after we clear the call. The silence when it's over. The nightmares at 2 a.m, the smells that don't go away, that face that won't fade, that one call you'd give anything to do again. We know how to save everyone else, but nobody ever showed us how to save ourselves. This podcast exists because strength without recovery is a slow-burning fuse. We've been to too many funerals, watched too many marriages fall apart, seen careers end in burnout instead of honor, and we've lost too many of our brothers and sisters to battles they never said a word about. Here's what you're going to get. You're going to hear stories, real ones, critical incidents, anger, addiction, faith, loss, and redemption. Not polished, not cleaned up, not safe, just honest. Because nothing starts getting better until we stop pretending everything's okay. We're going to break things down. We're going to talk about what trauma actually does to your body and what it does to your brain. Why hypervigilance just doesn't turn off. What moral injury really looks like. Why you feel numb or like you're always on edge. We'll bring in people who get it. Culturally competent clinicians, chaplains, veterans, spouses. We're also bringing in cops, firefighters, medics, and 911 operators who are right on the edge and found a way back. Not perfect, but whole. Listen, you need to hear this. You're not broken, you're changed. There's a big difference. You've been in places most people will never go. Seen things most people couldn't handle. Carried weight most people will never understand. Yeah, it changed you. You know, that's not the problem. The problem is, what are you going to do about it? For some of you, this is going to feel like permission. Permission to admit you're tired. Permission to admit you're pissed off. Permission to admit you're not okay. For others, this is going to hit a nerve because of your identity. You're the strong ones. You're dependable, the one everyone else leans on, the one who doesn't seek help. But here's the truth. Being the strong one doesn't mean you don't feel it. It may mean you learned how to deal with it without letting it destroy your life. But trust me, what you stuff down will come back to haunt you. I know, I've been there. This whole platform, Bulletproof First Responder, is here for one reason, so you can still do the job and keep your soul, so you can still serve hard and still show up for your family, so you can run toward danger and still come home, because your family doesn't need a folded flag. They need you, alive, grounded, there. And you deserve more than just grinding your way through life. We're going to challenge some things. We're going to challenge the suck it up attitude. The I don't talk about a culture. The just drink it off routine. The I'll deal with it when I retire lie. The approaches that cost us way too much. So we're going to replace silence with conversation, shame, and strategy. And we're going to get connected. Sadly, this job will harden you, maybe even kill you, but it won't count you out. There are things this job puts on you that training or talking about won't fix, because it's not just mental, it's spiritual. You're carrying guilt, probably anger, and you're carrying things you don't even have words for. Listen, whether you're a believer or not, whether your faith is solid, shaky, or you haven't thought about it in years, just hear me out for a minute. You're not in this by yourself. Not now, not ever. The job will tell you, suck it up, push through, handle your business, be the one everyone else leans on. But here's the truth most of us don't say out loud or admit. There is a God who sees what you've seen, been where you've been. Not the cleaned up version, the real stuff. The calls that stick, the faces that don't leave, the silence after. God's been in those places, and he hasn't walked away from you. He hasn't written you off, no matter how far gone you think you are. No matter what's rattling around in your head at 2 a.m. In this job, we talk a lot about strength, about having courage under pressure. You see it firsthand, a raging fire, chaos in the streets, or the worst day of someone else's life. But if you hold even a shred of faith, here's the reality. True courage isn't something you pull out of thin air when you're running on empty, because most of us are already running on fumes. Let me be real for you for a second. I've sat in the front seat with cops who haven't had a decent night's sleep in years. I'm talking about guys who can spot a strap in a suspect's waistband from 50 yards, but can't stop shaking when they're eating dinner with their family. I've stood on the line with firefighters who will smoke a charge into a burning building without second thought. Total savages on the fireground. But they can't sit in a quiet room for 5 minutes because the minute the sirens stop, the screaming in their head starts. I know medics who can tube a patient in the back of a moving rig covered in someone else's blood, running a cardiac code flawlessly, only to go home and stare at the ceiling for hours because they can't stop seeing the eyes of the kid that couldn't save. And the dispatchers, the ones who hear the mother scream or a final gurgling breath, and then have to take the next 911 call from some entitled jerk complaining about a loud party like nothing happened. And yeah, we've all got the script down pat. Someone asks you how you're doing? You tell them, I'm good, just living the dream. Just another day in paradise. I'm too blessed to be stressed. Cut the crap. We know it's a lie. We say it because in this job, showing a crack in the armor feels like a death sentence. We were trained for the streets. We were trained to survive an ambush, to clear a floor, to outrun the fire. But nobody, not the instructors, not the training officers, nobody ever told us how to survive the slow motion train wreck that happens inside your soul after a few years on this job. We were taught to stay alive, but not how to live with the darkness we've seen. I've talked with cops, firefighters, medics, and dispatchers, not as a boss, but as a friend, a peer, a coach, as someone they could open up to. And here's the deal. Behind closed doors, the story changes. I'm fine becomes I haven't slept. I can't turn it off. I don't recognize myself anymore. And sometimes it goes deeper like, I don't want to go home like this. I'm drinking way too much. I go off on my family for no reason. I'm tired, but I don't know how to rest. And I just don't feel anything anymore. And that scares me. That's what nobody talks about. The part of the job we're not trained for. And that's exactly where this conversation needs to go. Now, here's the truth you won't hear at the station. You were never meant to carry all of this alone. Deuteronomy 31:6 states it clearly. Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid, for the Lord your God goes with you. He will never leave you nor forsake you. This isn't some feel-good poem or a coffee mug quote. It's a combat order. It tells us to be strong and courageous, not because we're the toughest ones in the room, but because the Lord your God is the one kicking in the door ahead of you. It means before you step off the rig, he's there. Before you hit the scene, he's there. Before the chaos, he's already in it. You're not walking into darkness alone. And when the adrenaline wears off, which it will, when your mind won't shut down, when it all starts catching up with you, that's when this matters the most, because your strength isn't just yours anymore. You've got backup, real backup, and God never clocks out. I've seen the hardest and toughest break down and come back, not because they were weak, but because they finally stopped sucking everything up. And healing, real healing, isn't just tactical, it's spiritual. The Son of God said, "Come to me, all who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest." Those words by Jesus Christ gives us comfort, peace, and hope we are looking for. And hear this, hope is not soft. Hope is not a weakness. Hope is what stops us from making a permanent decision on a bad night. And yeah, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Hope is what keeps us alive. Hope is what holds a marriage together and what helps you rebuild when everything else feels lost. Hope is not naive, it's disciplined. Okay, before we move on, let's do something real quick. It's not theory or therapy. This is something you can use tonight in your car after your shift. We'll call it a reset because you weren't built to go from chaos straight home like nothing happened. That's where these things start breaking. So here's what I want you to do. If you're driving, stay with me. If you're sitting somewhere, even better. But first, slow your breathing down. Slowly in through your nose. Hold it. Slowly exhale through your mouth. Do that again. Long inhale. Hold. Slow exhale. Feel that? That's your system starting to come down out of fight mode. Now here's the next part. Look around wherever you are and mentally name 5 things you can see. Go ahead. Now 4 things you can physically feel. Then 3 things you can hear. This is how you start pulling yourself out of that last call and back into right now. Because some of you, you're still back there, still on that scene, still hearing it, still running it. We're not doing that tonight. Now the last piece, this matters. Say this to yourself, even if it feels weird. I made it through that shift. I'm here. I'm going home. And even if you've got a thread of faith, add this. God, I'm handing this to you because I'm not carrying it all night. That's it. This isn't soft. This is tactical. Because if you don't learn how to come down, you'll stay spun up. And that's what ruins your sleep, your family, and your life. So start here. 1 reset after every shift. No excuses. That's how we're going to take control back. Not at once, 1 at a time, 1 reset at a time. Over the next episodes, you're going to hear it all. Breakdowns and comebacks. Addiction and recovery. Faith lost and found again. Cops who almost walked away. And firefighters who nearly drank themselves to death. Medics who thought they were done for good. And what pulled them back? No hype, no slogans. Just faith, tools, perspective, and truth. If you're hearing this and you're in it, like really in it, barely holding it together, heads up. You're not fighting this alone. You're not in this room. Over the next episodes, you're going to hear it all. Breakdowns and comebacks. Addiction and recovery. Faith lost and found again. Cops who almost walked away. Firefighters who nearly drank themselves to death. Medics who thought they were done for good. And what pulled them back? No hype, no slogans, just faith, tools, perspective, and truth. If you're hearing this and you're in it, like really in it, barely holding it together, heads up. You're not fighting this alone. Not in this room, not in this profession, not in your life. There are people who understand you, people who stand with you, and a God who hasn't left you even in the middle of all of this. Why? Because the uniform doesn't protect you. The badge does not make you invincible. Bunker gear doesn't make you indestructible. You can be strong and still need help. You can be squared away and still be struggling. You can be a warrior and still have wounds. This is season 1, episode 1. And this is your invitation. Your invitation to stop pretending, to lean in, to fight for your own life the same way you fight for everyone else's. Because the mission isn't just getting through the shift. It's building a life that actually lasts after it. If you're listening to this and finally feel like someone's speaking your language, don't just sit there with it. Stay in the fight with us. Hit that follow or subscribe button so you're ready for the next one. Don't keep this to yourself. Share it with your shift. Because we're done losing good people to silence. Leave a rating. It helps us cut through the noise and reach those who are still pretending they're fine. You can also head over to bulletprooffirstresponder.com. One word, bulletprooffirstresponder.com for additional resources. As you head up for your next shift, stay safe and stay sharp. And remember, true resilience isn't just about what you can do. It's about who you rely on. Part of being strong and of good courage means trusting in the Lord as our true source of strength. Until next time, keep the faith and watch each other's back. I'm retired Sergeant Danny Coon, law enforcement chaplain, first responder mental health coach, and one of you. This is Bulletproof First Responder, the podcast, and we're just getting started.